Oh, good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here this afternoon, for taking time from your busy schedules and lives to come and spend some time with us. So we will call to order today's meeting at 5:32. Mr. Koenig, if you could do a line roll call, please.
Board President Garcia, Board Vice President Ocampo,
Present.
Board Clerk Perez, Trustee Gilpus Barrera,
Here.
Trustee Jimenez,
Here.
our Board President Garcia and Clerk Perez are absent.
We'll proceed with the Pledge of Allegiance, and we don't have anyone to lead it today. Okay, maybe if we could have Mr. Koenig lead the Pledge of Allegiance.
Stand, ready, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll proceed to Spotlight. This is an opportunity to feature up to 3-minute presentations. Do we have any spotlights today, Mr. Koenig?
Yes, we do. First, we have Director Maria Alvarez will recognize a standout performer in working on the local control accountability plan.
So good evening. I'm Vice President Ocampo, board members, Superintendent Koenig, cabinet colleagues, and community. I'm here tonight to spotlight Champion of Parental Involvement LCAP survey recognition. In alignment with our commitment to the Local Control Accountability Plan, LCAP, We are proud to spotlight the incredible efforts of our school communities in championing parental involvement. This year's Parent LCAP survey data reflects a more refined and accurate representation, as families with multiple children were counted only once, providing a clearer picture of school-wide engagement. The results highlight the dedication of our school staff in fostering inclusive and collaborative environments where parent voices are not only welcomed, but essential in shaping the direction of our district. We are pleased to recognize the top 3 schools with the highest percentage of parent participation. So this year in 3rd place was Steinbeck Elementary with 54% of their parent community. 2nd place was Creekside Alisal Virtual Academy with 56%. And the winner this year is 1st place is Alisal Community School with the highest parent participation rate. Congratulations to Alisal Community School. They have earned bragging rights for the year until next year, when we will see which site rises to the top. This recognition has sparked a positive synergy and a spirit of friendly competition among our schools, further fueling efforts to elevate parent voice. We are pleased to recognize and thank all of our school communities for the continued work in engaging families and ensuring their voices are heard and reflected in the goals and actions of our district. So with that, I'd like to call up the staff from Alisal community for their efforts. They were at 66% of their community, and that's an amazing percentage. So this is in honor of your efforts, and you get to hang it for a year. And so with that, can we take a picture and give them a round of applause? Y si hay padres de Alisal, si pueden también venir porque ustedes también ayudaron con eso. Right here.
Yeah, there are a couple of others. Next, Monica Anzo will report on conspicuous administrator leadership that was observed this past weekend during our sports program. Monica?
Thank you, Mr. Koenig. So we received a message from a parent asking us to recognize publicly our 2 of our administrators that showed their leadership and really stood up for our students. So there was an incident during the Montebello, at Montebello during the soccer tournament in which a student missed a goal. And the referees didn't show very nice behavior towards the student, were unprofessional. And the good thing was that Mr. Frenzel and Ms. Mendoza, our Creekside administrators, were there. So I'm going to read the words the parent made sure we knew what was happening. And she said, fortunately, Mr. Frenzel and Ms. Mendoza overheard what was happening and immediately intervened. They calmly and decisively addressed the referees before any parents had to get involved or the situation escalated further. Their actions protected the students' emotional well-being and helped maintain a safe and respectful environment for everyone in the attendance. Their leadership, empathy, and dedication to our students' safety and dignity are very commendable. I sincerely appreciate their presence and professionalism, and I hope their quick and thoughtful response is recognized by the district. So we'd like to take that moment to recognize their leadership and thank parent Linda Jimenez for reporting what she saw.
The next spotlight, apparently, I understand we have, actually, we have two plaques, apparently. We have one plaque for Mr. Arturo Duran, who will be retiring from the district. And we also have another plaque for Mr. Jim Koenig, who will also be retiring from the district. So it's my understanding now that I guess we all go have cake, I think. Oh, we have to give him the plaque first. Yes, indeed. And then we have cake.
Mr. President, Chair, can we add a little bit to the spotlight? Would you grant permission?
Sure, why not? Yes.
First of all, to thank Mr. Duran, who was with us for about 3 years in our HR department. Very pleased, the board, with your work, just who you are as a person. Thank you to your family and to you for sacrificing coming to work. I think we're 2 hours away from your hometown. Well, you live here, but I mean, you travel back home. And yeah, I know you don't travel every day, but now you're really not going to come probably, but hopefully you'll come and stop by. And we're very grateful to you for what you've done for us, for LSL and our students as well. Thank you. And also to Mr. Koenig, there's no other like Mr. Koenig. You've been so faithful to us and so loyal to LSL, keeping us where we're supposed to be. And We wish you also the best in your retirement. And someday we're all going to retire, but right now it's your turn, and thank you so much for what you've done.
Thank you for that, Senora. We will now have a 10-minute break, and now we can have cake. I'm thinking, I don't know. we do this? Okay, we then hope everybody had some cake and that they enjoyed their cake. I hope that you didn't ruin your appetite for dinner, but we'll see what happens at dinner time. Okay, so now we will move on to the adoption of the agenda, and I will entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Any comments or questions? We're then proceeding to a line vote. Mr. Koenig, please.
Board President Ocampo,
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Pereira,
Yes.
Trustee Jimenez.
Yes.
The motion passed.
Okay, we move on to number 2, which is public comment concerning items on the open session agenda and/or non-agenda items guidelines. There will be a 2-minute limit for individuals and a 20-minute limit on total public comments. There is no ceding of one's time to other individuals. Individuals wishing to address the Board of Trustees on open session items and/or other items may do so at this time. We do have a starting time of 5:56. Okay, and we also have an ending time of 5. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. We do have some public comments. Very good.
I'll be given during the LCAP, the public dinner.
First comment is from Teodora Martinez, LCAP hearing.
Buenas tardes, mesa directiva de nuestro distrito Alizal. Mi nombre es Teodora Martínez. Yo soy una mamá de estudiante de la escuela Alizal y también soy una mamá muy involucrada en las diferentes reuniones que tiene mi distrito. También estoy aquí por parte de Padres Unidos. Estoy aquí para seguir recordando a nuestra mesa directiva que analicen muy bien el plan de ELCAP y aseguren que viene inversión para tener más clases bilingües en todas nuestras escuelas de Alizal. Esta es una necesidad muy grande para nuestros estudiantes. La educación bilingüe es un derecho para cada niño. Así que hay que pensar cómo contratar más maestros capacitados para tener esta educación bilingüe para todos nuestros niños y familias de Alizal. Gracias, mesa directiva y superintendente Mónica Anso, por pensar en nuestros niños y sus necesidades. Los fondos de nuestras escuelas se deben usar de una manera responsable y de éxito, y la educación bilingüe es parte fundamental para llegar a ese éxito. De nuevo, gracias. Con respeto, Teodora Martínez. Gracias.
Good afternoon, Board of Trustees. My name is Teodora Martinez. I am a mom of a student at Alisal Community School. I'm also a mom very involved in different meetings that the district has. I am also here as part of Padres Unidos. I am here to remind our Board of the Trustees to please analyze the LCAP very well and make sure that it has a good investment for more bilingual classes in all the schools of Alisal. This is a very big need for many of our students. Bilingual education is a right for each child. So we have to think how to hire more teachers who are capable of delivering these bilingual education for all children and families of Alisal. Thank you, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Anso, for thinking about our children and their needs. The funds that our schools have to be used in a responsible manner, and the success of bilingual education is a very essential part to achieve this success. Many thanks again.
Marisol Arias, LCAP hearing.
Hola, buenas tardes a todos. Mi nombre es Marisol Arevalo y soy mamá de la escuela Creekside. También soy del Comité de Padres Unidos. Hoy vengo a hablar sobre la importancia de la nutrición y la comida saludable para nuestros hijos. Ellos reciben una comida que no es adecuada para su nutrición y es importante que coman bien para aprender y progresar académicamente. Por favor, les pedimos, hoy escuchen y tomen en cuenta nuestras necesidades y lo agreguen al LCAP. Gracias por su atención y les daremos la oportunidad de responder a esta petición con respeto. Marisol Arevalo. Gracias.
Good afternoon. My name is Marisol Arevalo. I'm the mother of a child in Creekside. I'm also a member of Padres Unidos. Today, I'm here to talk about the importance of nutrition and healthy food for our children. They receive a food that is not adequate for their nutrition, and it's important for them to eat well so they can learn and achieve academic progress. Please, we ask that you listen to us and take this into consideration. And please add it to the LCAP. Thank you for your attention, and we would like for you to let us know what your response is. With respect, Marisol.
Ana Diaz.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Ana Díaz. Yo soy mamá de la escuela Alizal y soy parte de Padres Unidos. Hoy estoy aquí para pedirles que incluyan las prioridades de nosotros los padres en el plan de ELPAC. Necesitamos que den más importancia a la educación bilingüe y que ustedes recluten más educadores bilingües. Además, que aumenten los incentivos para los maestros bilingües. Yo he pedido muchos apoyos en mi escuela y mis hijos ya perdieron la oportunidad y queremos que nos escuchen. Nos piden recolectar firmas y ese no es nuestro trabajo para poder tener las clases. También que nos tomen en cuenta y espero que mi hijo que entra en kinder el año que viene y otros niños tengan la oportunidad. Esperemos que ustedes nos escuchen y agreguen esta necesidad en el plan de ELPAC. Gracias por su tiempo.
My name is Ana. I'm a mom in Al Sadd School, and I also belong to Padres Unidos. I'm here to ask that you include the LCAP, the priorities of us, the parents, in the LCAP plan. We need to have more importance given to bilingual education, and that you recruit more bilingual teachers. Also, please increase incentives for bilingual teachers. I have asked a lot of support in my school, and my children have already lost that opportunity, and we want to be heard. We're being asked to gather signatures, and that's not our job to be able to have those classes. We also would like to be taken into consideration, and I hope that my child and other children have that opportunity. I hope that you listen to us and add this need in the LCAP plan. Thanks for your time.
Francisco Ramírez.
Buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Francisco, soy padre de la escuela Lizal y también de Padres Unidos. Les pido que nos escuchen nuestra necesidad. Yo siempre pido que ustedes nos den una oportunidad y nos den el respeto. Pedimos que pongan atención en la nutrición de todos los niños, comida caliente y balanceada que incluya proteína y que sea agradable para los niños. Como comida que les gusta a ustedes, Es bueno para los niños. Hay que usar lo que tenemos local y no hay que darles solo galleta y pan y solo comida empaquetada. Hagamos el cambio en la nutrición. Eso es parte de la educación de calidad para nuestros hijos. Gracias.
Good afternoon. My name is Francisco. I'm also a parent of Alisal School, and I also belong to Padres Unidos. I ask that you please listen to our needs. I always ask that you give us opportunities and show us respect. We would like to please pay attention to nutrition of all students, to have warm meals and balance that include protein and that is nice to them. Meals that they like, that they like, that are good for kids. We have to use whatever we have local and not just give them cookies or bread or packaged food. Please, let's make a change in nutrition. This is part of the education, quality education for our children. Thank you.
Susana Ramirez.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Susana, soy parte de Padres Unidos y de la Escuela Lizal. Estoy aquí para hablar sobre las prioridades del plan del ELCA que los padres hemos identificado como una necesidad. Capacitación para todo el personal de la escuela, incluyendo al personal de la cocina, para que identifique las necesidades de niños y los ayude a sentirse bienvenido y ayudar en sus necesidades académicas y también de nutrición. Hay niños que tienen necesidades especiales y no son identificados. Les pedimos que incluyan esta prioridad en el plan del CAP porque tengo un hijo que tiene problema de habla y no puede comunicar con otros correctamente. Gracias.
Good afternoon. My name is Susana. I belong to Padres Unidos and Al South School, and I'm here to talk about priorities of the LCAP plan that parents have identified as a need. We need professional development for everybody on staff, on the school staff, including kitchen staff, so they can identify the needs of the children and help them feel welcome and help fulfill their academic and nutritional needs. There are children with special needs that are not identified, and we ask that you include these priorities in the LCAP plan. I have a child who has a speech disability, and he cannot communicate with others correctly. Thank you for your attention.
We will move on to any comments from the Alisal Teachers Association. Oh, sorry, we have an ending time for comments at 6:08 p.m. And move on to comments from the Alisal Teachers Association.
Good evening, Mr. Koenig, Cabinet, Board of Trustees, and the community. My name is Amy Edwards. I have been with our district for 10 years, and I teach 6th grade at Frank Paul. My purpose tonight is to introduce myself to you as the new ATA president. I will hold this position for the next 2 years. I look forward to getting to know you as we continue to work in collaboration for the benefit of our Alisal students, teachers, and community. Thank you.
Comments from the California School Employees Association. Comments from the United Substitute Teachers Union. Okay, we'll then move on to number 3, which is a presentation. Presentations. We have a presentation titled School Year 25-26 Budget. Elaine Mendoza, Director of Physical Services.
Good evening. Vice President Ocampo, trustees, Mr. Koenig, cabinet, and colleagues. We just finished preparation of 2025-26 school year. Under the law, or statutorily speaking, we have to present the information today, at least 2 weeks before the budget can be approved by Board of Trustees. This is one of the required steps. During these steps, we make a presentation and we seek input from public and Board of Education. Just to assure you that we prepared this budget based on the priorities given to us by Board of Trustees, Superintendent, and the community. We have not changed our priorities. The priorities come to us during from different channels or through different channels. Board meetings, input about LCAP, LCFF input, different methods that we use to seek information and guidance. We develop budget, we seek information and guidance so we can revise the information. The budget that we present today, or the information that we present today, this is initial draft of our budget. The reason is state has not adopted budget yet. They are legally supposed to adopt budget by or before end of June. When state of California is going to create and adopt budget, we are going to come back to you one more time to finalize the numbers. But until that time, this information is the best that we have from inside and outside sources. Governor presents information in the month of January. So mostly this budget is based on the January information, which can be slightly outdated, but that's the nature of budget development in the state of California. My name is Rais Abbasi. I'm the Associate Superintendent of Business Services. And my colleague here, Elaine Mendoza. We have worked very hard to create this budget, and we are going to make a very brief presentation. And from this point, my colleague is going to take over.
Good evening, thank you. So tonight I will go ahead and present the preliminary budget report for 25-26. According to Education Code, on or before July 1st of every year, the governing board of each school district shall accomplish the following: hold a public hearing on the budget to be adopted, adopt the budget, and file the budget with the county superintendent of schools. We will begin by looking at a comparison at each of the reporting periods for 2024-25. We have the adopted budget, first interim, second interim, and then estimated actuals. The slide shows the balances for general fund. It's combined of unrestricted and restricted funds. The last column shows our estimated actual balances for 2024-25. We are estimating our ending fund balance at 99.7 million. To break down the funds a little more, the general fund is made up of unrestricted and restricted funds. So the slide shows the balances and the breakdown of the two different categories. The unrestricted ending fund balance is projected at 60.9 million, and restricted ending fund balance is 38.8 million, totaling to the 99.7 million. We will now look at the 25-26 budget. When building the budget, some assumptions are taken into account for our projections. For the local control funding formula, the enrollment is projected at 7,097. The average daily attendance is 6,860, or equaling to 96.66%. The cost of living adjustment is 2.3%, and the unduplicated people count eligible for supplemental grants is 95.26%. For federal revenues, it is remaining flat for now. For state revenues, the lottery fund is projected at $249 per student, equaling to about 1.7 million. COLA for special education program is also at 2.3%, and mandated programs is 0.26%. For local revenues, donations are included based on any trends and commitments. We also make expenditure assumptions for our budget. For retirement contributions for STRS, it remains at 19.10%. And then for PERS contribution, it decreased a little by 0.24%, so equaling to 26.81%. Here we have a comparison of the projections of our estimated actuals for 2024-25 and our preliminary budget for 2025-26. For our budget, we are projecting our revenues at 142.9 million. And after calculating our expenditures and beginning fund balance, our ending fund balance is 59.2 million. And to break down the budget a little bit more, we have it separated by unrestricted and restricted funds. So here you can see the unrestricted ending fund balance is projected at 56.3 million, and our restricted ending fund balance is 2.9 million. When building the budget, we also look at the multi-year projections for 2020, 26, 27, and 27, 28, so 2 subsequent years. Some assumptions we make are enrollment, ADA, and unduplicated pupil count. For 2026-27, for enrollment, we have 6,872. For ADA, 6,522. And the unduplicated pupil count is 95.38%. You'll see a slight change projected for 27-28. So for enrollment, we have 6,764, ADA 6,426, an unduplicated pupil count of 96.23%. The LCFF COLA is projected at 3.02% for 2026-27 fiscal year, and then 3.42% for 2027-28. These numbers are not guaranteed and they can change over time. We also do a breakdown of the balances for comparison. So here we have the estimated actuals compared to our budget for 2025-26 and then the 2 subsequent years. We use the assumptions for revenues and expenditures for the projections. In other funds, we have several other funds here and their balances. We have the major funds that we use for construction, which is Fund 21, Fund 35. We also have our Child Development Fund and cafeteria funds. So these are our major funds. Some other budget considerations. Enrollment is projected to continue to decline. Negotiations with CSA bargaining unit is ongoing. The budget is developed based on information that we have at the time. So the May revise is not the final budget, as the numbers can change before June 30th. For next steps, we have the adoption of 2025-26 budget and LCAP on June 25th, the state budget adoption, which is on June 30th, and then the 45-day budget revise in July, August. Thank you. Any questions?
Any questions on the board? Yes.
I was curious, the lottery funds, so it's presumed that for next year we'll get like 1.7 million, I think. What category of funds does that go into? Into restricted, unrestricted, general?
So the lottery funds we basically use for instructional materials. And lottery funds have 2 separate actually categories. When state gives us money, they split that in unrestricted and restricted. But we like to use both of those funds for instructional materials, like textbooks, for example.
Okay, so where is the money that we normally use for textbooks? Is that restricted?
That is restricted money, yes.
But the lottery funds doesn't have to be limited to spend it on certain things.
The money that is called Prop 63. So under Prop 63, they have to spend on instructional materials. That's the best or recommended use of funds throughout California. Unrestricted, which is a smaller amount, is about 20% of the funds. They can be used for anything. They are unrestricted in nature. But we also like to use that for instructional purposes.
So most of these funds that we're going to presume that we're going to get and use, most of them don't roll over to the next year, correct, or?
The restricted side of lottery money can be rolled over to next year because that is by definition categorical money. It's also called Prop 63 money. So yeah, that carries over from one year to another, but it's not that much money. So we end up spending all of that. It's a very small amount of money. Small amount of
1.7
money.
million? Yeah, I guess when you compare it to what the cost
I mean,
is.
we have about $200 million budget.
Right,
In
right.
200 million,
Uh-huh.
that's actually almost nothing.
So since we've had the lottery money come into the district, has it ever rolled over, or is the district pretty good about spending it?
We almost always spend it.
And I would think that would be the same in mostly all of these categories. We use it or we lose it, I guess, in some categories, but is there a category you can think of that if we don't use the funds, then we lose them?
Actually, yeah, there are many examples that if we do not use
Could
them,
you share a
we
couple?
lose them. ELOP is a good example.
Oh, okay.
ELOP money has a timeline. If we
Mhm.
do not spend that money by a certain date, we can lose it.
Mhm.
Music and arts block grant, it
Mhm.
also has a time limitation. It has a longer life,
Mhm.
but yes, that can expire as well. That's a state side. On the federal side, Title I money has a time limit.
Mhm.
If we do not spend that money, we lose that money. We have to give that back. But we have been very good about making use of timelines. So we always have this ability to actually spend down almost entire amount that is given to us, allocated to us.
Well, I appreciate that. The budget and what we're going to be getting is going to be smaller and smaller in the future, so we want to be tighter with our dollars. So it's a good thing we do not, we stay on those guidelines to not have to give any money back that we don't use.
Absolutely. We have been very prudent about that. We
Awesome.
know how to receive money and spend money. In our budgeting cycle, we keep reminding all the managers and directors and principals on a periodic basis to spend the money. We do not like to lose money at all. So we have this mechanism, built-in mechanism to remind our key personnel
Right.
so they can spend money. We help them spend money.
That's great. Thank you very much for the presentation. Thank you, Mr. Ocampo.
Just had a question. I'm wondering, yeah, I noticed that, or at least for the next 3 academic years, we do have a deficit, for the next 3 years. But apparently, what keeps us afloat is the ending fund balance every year keeps us in the black, I guess, every year. But every year, as council member, I'm sorry, as Trustee Gilpin said, every year the fund balance goes down, from 59 million, I think, to 46 million to 36 million. So it's like it's a downward trend. So I guess we're okay for the next 3 years. I mean, we apparently have a balanced budget for the next 3 years because of the ending balance. That's what sort of keeping us afloat or in the black, as they say. Do you think this downward trend will continue, or is it something that can't be predicted? Can we predict 4 years in the future, 5 years in the future? Is that not predictable, or do you think the downward trend will continue? I'm curious what your thoughts are on that.
So our timeline, our lifeline is the COLA that we get from state of California. Other factors are significant. For example, our enrollment is another big factor. COLA, for now, the projection is that we are going to get 2.3% next year, 25-26, and 3% plus the next 2 years, which is 26-27, 27-28. That's a nice amount of COLA to maintain our expenses. We do not like to add ongoing expenses with one-time monies. We like to maintain our reserve as much as we can. For now, we are very good for the next 3 years, at least 3 years, because we are over 10% required by Board of Education, which is 3% state requirement plus 7% that Board of Trustees requires us. So we are able to maintain at least 10% in the next 3 years. I would say actually in the next 5 to 6 years, we are way above the required reserve level. We are good about spending that money. We have we have settled with our biggest bargaining partners, teachers union. So we are set for a 24, 25, 25, 26, and 27, 28 school year. So we know that how much our expense is going to be and how much our revenue is going to be. Again, economics is unpredictable. COLA can change. If recession happens, state might give us less money. We may have some issues to deal with at that time. But for now, it looks promising based on the economic reports that we get from UCLA and we get from State of California and State Controller's Office and Legislative Office, which is a bipartisan group. They all say that even if recession happens, it's going to be a mild recession. So we should be okay in the next 5 to 6 years with all the money that we have. Our deficit spending is a concern to us, and on the surface, it's a concern to County Office of Education as well, because they say that our revenue is less than our expenditures. But that's also the nature of accounting and timing that we deal with, because we carry over funds from one time to another. So in accounting statements, it looks like a deficit spending, but in reality, actually, we have fund balance, categorical fund balance to balance our budgets. That's accounting cycle that we have to deal with.
Okay, I'm curious, thank you for that. Are the projected COLAs factored into the next 3 years?
Yes. Only thing is that the state has not approved their budget yet. So when State of California approves their budget, then we know for sure how much COLA we are going to get. For now, it's just a projection that we are going to get 2.3% next year and 3.42% 26-27 school year. But COLA is a number that comes from US Department of Commerce. It's not a State of California projection. That number is actually US number from Department of Commerce. And that is based on different factors. And those factors actually accumulate over a period of time. Each quarter, Department of Commerce collects information and they factor into their own calculation. And that COLA is also used for Social Security, for example, and for other factors in US economy. So it's very difficult to project and predict, but for now, based on all the information we have, these are the best estimates we have.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sounds good. You sold me. Okay, I guess we then will move on to, we have another presentation, the Alisal Union School District Local Control Accountability Plan. Deputy Superintendent Monica Anso and Director of Education Services, Dr. Maria Alvarez.
Good afternoon, Vice President Ocampo, Superintendent Koenig, trustees, Cabinet and Community. I'm Monica Anso, Deputy Superintendent, and I'm here today with Dr. Alvarez, and we will be presenting some highlights from our LCAP plan. In addition to the highlights, some of the requirements and the funding that we'll be receiving for the 25-26 school year. Right, so the plan is, for a quick review, the plan is created from 8 state priorities. This is a requirement from the state. We have to look at basic services. So making sure we have our teachers, our facilities are in good repair. That's part of what we're doing with our basic necessities. We have to make sure we have implementation of the state standards, access to courses, so making sure the students have access to the proper curriculum, student achievement, and parent involvement, student engagement, and school climate. So you'll see those 8 priorities as we're discussing our plan. This is 3-year plan. Last year, we brought to you the beginning of the first cycle. So it's a 3-year plan. We approved that last year at the end of June 2024. This is what we're bringing to you is the second year of this 3-year plan. And so today is a presentation, there'll be a public hearing, and then we'll bring it back on June 25th for approval. So the LCAP does have some requirements. So in addition to making sure that we show evidence of the LCAP, it's presented to the LEA, we have to make sure we're increasing the services for a certain group of students, our low-income students, student English learners, and foster youth. So this is what we called our unduplicated count. And it has to show that we're improving services compared to other pupils. So some of the purpose and requirements for our plan is that we engage educational partners in the development of the LCAP, that we have district goals and targets, which are actions. We establish effective actions and sufficient expenditure. So each action is aligned to an expenditure. Again, we have to make sure we have consultation from teachers, principals, administrators, other school staff, local bargaining units, parents, and students. It's reviewed by our DAC and DLAC, and then we bring it today for a public hearing. Some of the requirements, in addition to everything that I just went over, is that we have to have an action if we have 30 or more English learners, which we do. If we have 15 or more long-term English learners, which we do. If we are under technical assistance, which we're not. If schools in the LEA with at least one red indicator on the dashboard, which we do. Student groups in the LEA with at least one indicator on the red indicator on the dashboard, which we do. And then student groups within any school in the LEA with at least one red indicator, which we also do. So you'll see actions created as we go over, or we have create actions except for the technical assistance. So here are some highlights from our dashboard. Again, this dashboard was made public in December of 2024. So some of this data is old data that we're working with, but that's what we have to work with. The new dashboard won't be released until December of 2025. This is just a longevity. You can see how we've increased in the colors. So we want to make sure that we are in blue is the highest color that we can have, and red is the lowest. You can see in 2017, in language arts, we were in yellow. This fall of 2024, we are still in yellow, and you can see all the colors in between. Math, back in 2017, we were in orange. As you see the progression, there was some dips, but then we went back up to yellow this fall. And this all, it takes into consideration the growth of students in math and ELA. Then we have English language development. So for our English learners, how are they developing in English? It doesn't just take into consideration our students that are reclassifying, but any student that's considered an English learner and how they're developing language. We can see that we had a dip last year. We went from a 54.7% that were growing in the LP. We dropped. And so we went to a 10%. So we went from that green to the red. So we have to have actions that are going to address that. Our suspension, which is our school climate, as listed in the priorities. We went, this year we were in green. Last year we were in orange as a district. And then chronic absenteeism was just considered student engagement. That's one of the priorities. And we have increased our student attendance, so it is in yellow. Here, there's just another view of our dashboard. As you can see from the schools, all the reds are what we have to pay attention to because those are the actions that we have to create in our dashboard. So for example, I'll just go over the very first one. Alisac community, you have ELA, math, and ELD. You can see where they have a red action or red indicator in their ELD for 24-25. So we have to make sure that we address that. It's included in our LCAP and included in the school SIPSA. These are the red indicators from 23-24, and it's just a comparison on how we were last year, where we had to create some actions in which we had compared. Okay, so the LP, if you look at our English learners, we had one school that was in red there. We had 9 schools that were in our ELA that were also in the red compared to this year. Our LP actually, we had more schools in the red indicator, so we have to make sure we include that, but we have less schools with our English learners in ELA in the red indicator. We went from 9 to 3. So again, we have some areas in which we need to work and then some areas where we have made some changes.
So you're probably wondering why we are in the red, and this graph can show you that in 2023, we were in purple, 54.8% as a district, and then in 2024, in the purple, we're at 44.96. So that's that 10 point percentage difference, and so that's what made us go into the red. And that purple is saying that students made 1 year LP level growth, and so we went down. They didn't make that growth. You can see in the green, they went up, they stayed stagnant. They maintained what they had in the year previous. And then also the pink is that they regressed 1 LP level. So on the dashboard, the way that the colors come is that on the top row, it's a 5x5 card. On the top, it shows where schools had the growth on LP, and then it compares it to the data from the current year. And so on the next slide, you see the schools that went down on their LP and the percentage that they went down. So that's what brought us into the red, because of the movement on 1 year's growth or more. The LCAP, we're required to engage our educational partners. And so these are some of the areas that we focus. We have student surveys, one in the spring, one in the fall. We have a parent survey. We have parent participation at each of the school sites. We had 2 engagement professional meetings that parents were invited to. And then we have certificated staff participants in a meeting that is focused on LCAP, where they take a survey. We have certificated staff surveys, we have classified surveys, and we also do a lot of unpacking of the LCAP at our DLAC-DAC meetings every month. And this is just another highlight of the schools that came in first, second, and third. They were the highest in the district, and again, congratulations to Alisal for winning this year with 66% of their parent population. The development of the LCAP is developed with the results of our local assessment data, feedback and evaluation from staff, needs and recommendation from our DLAC, DAC, school site councils, the 2 educational stakeholder meetings that we have, from school site meetings, surveys, our family resource centers, and our community forums that we have throughout the year. So we have 5 district goals. And with that, I want to call out that in our LCAP, we are adding 1 new action to goal number 3. It's independent study. So if you have your cheat sheet, it's in bright orange, the new one. It's in the blue section, and that is for independent study and pupil services. I do want to call out that the actions that we had for last year are all going to continue and roll over to this year because it's a 3-year plan. Additionally, action 1, goal 1, Action 17 is going to be discontinued. The Alisal Virtual Academy is closing for the 25-26 school year and beyond due to enrollment. And those families have already been contacted. Most of the students are going to stay at Creekside, but there are a few students that are going to be going to a different virtual academy in our county. LCAP actions and funding that is the LCFF supplemental and concentration. So as you can see, last year we had $33,685,016 for 24-25. This year we're going to get $34,484,960. And so there's an additional $799,944. I want to also call out the total personnel. $32,232,535 goes to personnel. And we have listened to our community that they want more support, and it's there in numbers of how much we are putting towards personnel within the LCAP. So there also this year, the requirement is that we put the funds that are left over in our learning recovery grant. So as you can see in goal 1, $1,713,642 is going to be incorporated into goal 1. Goal 3 is $920,000. Goal 4 is $856,900, giving us a total amount of $3,490,542 that will be also included into our LCAP. So goal 1 is around PLC to support core instruction and tiered systems. As you can see on the slide, there are 3 actions that we call out to support the red indicators that Ms. Anso spoke about earlier, and the amounts. And then you can see the learning recovery that for the professional learning community, LCAP will be paying $1,975,558, and we will have an additional $251,144 to hire 4 additional subs, PLT subs, to support the release of professional learning communities. And then we have the professional developments also that will be added into from LCAP and also from learning recovery, and then assessment systems will also be getting an amount there. And then we are going to continue with our student intervention paper contract, which is $393,000, which will also be paid from the learning recovery. Oh, I forgot one at the bottom. Each school site will also have a learning environment, so that way teachers can focus on learning environment within their classroom. So goal 2 is success of English language students. And as you can see, we have 1 red indicator. We have the English learner instructional specialists. We have 6, and the totals there. We have bilingual professional development for our teachers, and we have 2 teachers, a newcomer class, and the amounts are there. And those are 3 actions in goal 2. Goal 3, social emotional learning, behavioral supports, and family engagement. As you can see, we have 3 indicators. One of the red indicators are we have 12 full-time counselors, we have 5 psychologists, and 4 social workers being paid out of the LCAP. And you can see for the learning recovery, there is more money put for our social workers, and Easter Seals contract and student engagement attendance will also be included for the learning recovery. So all the learning recovery actions will be an added action in each of those goals. Goal number 4 is active engagement, relationship building, and capacity building. And as you can see, we have 1 red indicator, which is a huge one. It's building capacity for site and district leaders. And as you can see, 865,000 is going to be added from the learning recovery because it is very important to build the capacity of people that are working with our students. And goal number 5, early learning literacy focus. Oops. There's 1 red indicator, there's 12 reading specialists, and there's 4 actions in goal 5. And the grand total for each goal, you can see there, giving us a total of 34,484,960 for the year. So if there are any questions?
Any questions from the board? Yes, Senora Guilpas.
Yes, thank you. That's quite a job there with this presentation. I did have a couple of questions. Could you elaborate a little bit more on what independent studies is going to entail? That's one question.
So we have to hire a credentialed teacher, and in our case, because it's only a temporary time during the year, the teacher needs to correct all the independent packets in order for the students to receive credit for independent studies. So it's to pay for some of the, we hire long-term sub to pay, so it's to pay that person.
So because it's a new action, correct? So
Yes.
So so their study packets, is that for what students would be referred to independent studies?
So students that are actually traveling are mostly the ones that are on independent studies.
So let's say during Christmas, a student might spend an extra week out of school for going out of the country. They could take a packet.
Yes.
Okay, so does that increase? Do kids usually bring the packets back?
Yes.
They do? That's
In
good.
order
So
for them to receive the credit, yes, they have to
it's
bring
an
it back.
it's something to benefit them to get, so that they don't lose out on that. Okay, and that's going to be under pupil personnel services.
Yes.
Okay, and then my other question, I think I missed it, or I was, but going back to the slide where it lists the 5 schools on the English language proficiency indicator, there's 5 schools and the percentages, whereas a district, it's negative 10.2%. Can you please explain a little bit more, and I'm sorry if I missed it, what those percentages mean?
So those percentages mean that that students at those schools didn't have that 1-year growth or more. That means that they stayed, they maintained what their score was last year, or they regressed 1 year back.
Okay, so I don't want to put any school on the highlight here, but the first school listed there, it's a negative, or it's 39.4%. That means almost 40% of their students did not have any growth.
That is correct.
That's almost half of the students that are
English learners.
that are EL students that didn't.
Right.
So what's the plan for, I mean, that's, the others are the same. So these are the top 5.
So our
schools.
EL specialists are really working diligently right now to really monitor our English language learners. We're looking at the students that maintained or regressed. And we also have a summer program. In fact, today we had a summer school PD, and all our summer school teachers that are working under the equity department are calling the students that maintained or had regression to motivate them and to monitor their growth. And then this EL specialist will continue that work next year. I do want to call out that the scores that we're getting back this year for the LPAC are showing great gains. So I'm confident that these the ones that are in red indicators, we are going to have growth next year. So we'll have to wait till December to get that final count, but I'm very confident that it's going to look better for our district.
That sounds good. That sounds fantastic. But let's say, I'm going to play the devil's advocate here for a minute. These same schools do worse next year. I mean, I know we have to look at the students individually, but don't we have to look at the schools also as what's happening there and why that group of students, like for example, if these same schools are the same 5 that are going to be in red next year. I mean, what is it that we do to support, mainly not criticize, but to support what's happening at what's the plan to support them? Maybe that's what my question is.
So in addition to the action that Dr. Alvarez was speaking to, which is part of goal 2, we have different actions throughout the LCAP that are going to address that. So for example, building capacity of not just the site leaders, but the leadership teams at each school. So we have 8 schools, which from that list include 2 schools. No, just 2. 2 schools that are now being part of what we call vital. So visibly improving teaching and learning. So there are certain protocols. So when teachers are planning their standards, they're making sure that they're integrating language development into the lesson. So that is something that is going to, we have 4 schools that just finished the first year, and we added an additional 4 so that we can support not just the planning of the core instruction, but how are they developing language. We have our iReady data. We are making sure that it's aligned, and that includes the monitoring. We have our leadership development director, who is a coach for the principals, and she started late this year, but now she has a full taste of what's happening and what some of the next steps for our leaders. We also plan on being in the classrooms next year, not just the superintendent, not just the our director of leadership development, but our EL directors, our directors that are working with curriculum and instruction to make sure that the practice in the classroom is addressing the needs of the students.
Right, because I would suppose that the principals are very responsible for this, but also support for the teachers. And so I'm sure they'll get that support. I mean, we do have Dr. Alvarez, then the new deputy superintendent, which I think will play a big role in supporting the principals. And that's what we need to do, but that can't go on and on and on at the same school over and over and over. And students, we all know you don't fix what's broken, and you support, but at some point we are accountable to the community, to our students, for the education that we are providing them. So it's good to hear that you have a plan to address that, because it's scary when you look at, the schools in red, and it's not to put them on the spot. It's to say, what are we going to do to assist them? But at the same time, it is the board's responsibility to make sure that something's in place, that if in the event the students don't do well, okay, well, then we have to do something else. And sometimes there's drastic measures that have to take place. I don't know what they are. You're the experts. You must know. But thank you. It was a good presentation. It's a good thing you got a lot of input from parents. Do we get, because community members ever involved? Do they do surveys? Because they give input also on the LCAP, don't they? Or who's considered a community member?
A community member, so when we're talking about the community, like when we have DLAC, DAC, and everybody's invited. So anybody that wants to come, even outside that is not part of ALISAL, they're welcome to come, and we're listening and leaning into what they are suggesting, and we're having that discourse. So it could be anybody that's within our community in Salinas.
That's good. Well, I really was learning about the connection with the LCAP, the LCFF, and also even our school plans, and how everything comes together, to help our students, be at the level that they should be in student achievement.
I was going to add, our school plans tonight will be approved, and in the school plans, I want to give a shout out to our principals. They really are high level intentional actions that they put in to their plans. So not only is it going to be supported by the LCAP, but at the school site with their ILT members, they also have their school plan that they're going to be following to address the needs at their school and the red indicators.
Yeah, I know we're going to be covering that later on the agenda. So I'll save my comments about the school plans, but I did see, I didn't read all of them. they have some, even a little summary page, but it's a lot. But I did kind of see a difference in, I compared a couple of the schools with last time and some different strategies are, so it's good to know that the principals are involved in that. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Ocampo.
Thank you, Lupe. Excellent questions. I had a question about your go forward, the building capacity for site and district leaders. What exactly will that look like?
So most of that funding is part of what we call our instructional leadership team. So our site leaders, it's not just about, it's about being able to make decisions from the evidence of student learning, from the evidence of student engagement, school climate, and how are they creating those actions. So that doesn't come natural to everybody. It has to be built. So we're not taking it a chance on it. We have to design it. So our principals that are part of the VITAL, we have been working with WestEd the past few years in order to build that structure and the foundation with our, not just our principals and our assistant principals, but with their leadership teams, so that the that leadership isn't just, we're talking that shared leadership is not just within the principal and the assistant principal.
I imagine some principals are probably better than others at it, at figuring out the needs of students and so on.
They're developing, yes.
They're developing it. So there will be kind of a structure to help them do this better in the future.
Yes.
Because I know this Board of Trustees has, talked a lot about the importance of principles and leadership and kind of really taking hold of the problem and working with the problem. So I'm glad to see that we're developing a model anyway that will address that. So it sounds very good. Thank you. Any other questions, Senor Jimenez? Okay, very good. All right, we then will move on to board member and superintendent reports. I don't know if we have any reports from either the superintendent or board members. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to say this is my final board meeting. I've been in Alisal for 17 years. I don't know how many board meetings I've been to, but it's got to be over 350. It's been, Alisal, 17 years. That's almost a quarter of my life. This has really been, people ask me how I am every day, and I tell them I'm marvelous, because it is a marvelous place to work, and I really have enjoyed every single day here. And I want to thank the board for giving me the opportunity to serve here, in particular as the superintendent for the past 6 years. This board has been professional and dedicated and supportive, and it's been a real pleasure to work with you. And Alisal is a wonderful, special place. It's truly a family, and I'm going to miss it. Thank you.
I just have one quick report. On the 23rd of May, we did have a retirement celebration for Mr. Koenig, which was really upbeat. Some of you here attended. I think there were maybe 80 people, maybe? There were a bunch of people, maybe 80 people. And the staff put together a slideshow of students and Mr. Koenig and teachers. And there was a group of principals that presented Mr. Koenig with, I believe it was a plaque. And we all ate. We had a cake and we had a barbacoa, rice, beans, and salad were served for the occasion. So, I would like to give a shout out to Sofia Ramirez, because she organized the event. Thank you for that. And I'm going to name all the people that were involved in putting together the event. Rosa Rivas, Patricia Rodriguez Melgoza, Ron Stray, Martinez Salazar, Ruby Estrada Constantino, George Lopez, Claudia Melendez, Mary Samaripa, Rocío Cárdenas, Maribel Caldera, Sigialfredo Barocio Gutierrez, Maria Barajas, and again, Sofia Ramirez. So a shout out to all of these people for putting the event together. And, want to thank you all for your service and your commitment to the Alisal School District. So thank you. We then will move on to the consent agenda. And at this point, I will entertain a motion for the consent agenda. Señora Gilpas, maybe? Okay, Señora Gilpas. Okay.
So moved.
And a second? Okay, Señora Jimenez. Comments or questions? No? Okay. Okay, I do have just a brief comment that I want to make. Try to keep it short if that's possible. I don't really know. But what caught my eye in this consent agenda were all the items that had to do with the transitional kindergarten program. We do have a bunch of items, items 5, N, O, S, T, and U, all deal with the TK program in our district. And for the most part, they provide a professional development for our TK teachers in the areas of play, social, emotional, and cognitive skills for TK students. And I think we had 2 other items where we're paying social media to advertise our TK program to try during the summer to try to get more parents to sign their students up for TK in our district. And I bring this up for 2 reasons. One reason is that we are currently, trying to grow, as you all know, we're trying to grow our TK program. We're trying to enroll more students in TK. And our governor, Governor Wilson has allocated roughly, I think, about $3 billion for TK in California. And the goal is to provide a universal TK or transitional kindergartner to all 4-year-olds in the state of California. So we are in the process of trying to, to have TK become a grade, like kindergartners a grade, first grade, second grade, and have TK become a grade, an official grade, and make it available to all of our students and enroll as many 4-year-olds as we can. And if we do that, I think maybe our enrollment might possibly go up, because there's a time, if you remember, our enrollment was about 9,000. Those were kind of the good years. Now we're about 7,000, which, I don't like to talk money, but obviously it means less money. Now, if we can up our enrollment in TK, maybe that could have a positive effect on our financial bottom line. Now the second reason I bring this up is because I think that TK is very important, for this district, because, and a lot of that stems from the fact that a lot of research shows that 90% of a child's brain growth happens before they begin kindergarten. So if we can get these young people, at the age of 4 and start teaching them math, start teaching them in English, there's no doubt in my mind that they will be successful in the upper grades, grade K through 6. So I just think that it's very important that we develop an excellent program, that we do this correctly, that we pay a lot of attention to the development of our TK program, and they create a program that is really superb in all aspects, because I think that the benefits, will be tremendous. I always, whenever we do things, in my mind, I'm always thinking, okay, well, what are the benefits to this particular plan or this particular thing that we want to do? And in TK, I see a lot of potential benefits. So I would just like to encourage our staff to really focus and really, do a bang-up job and create a great program. So those are my comments on that, and I think we can then move on to a vote. Yes, Mr. Koenig, if you can take a line vote, please, for the consent agenda.
Vice President Ocampo,
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Pereira,
Yes.
Trustee Jimenez.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Okay, we will then move on to number 6, which is business services. Action item, resolution number 2425-27, designation of district representative on Monterey San Benito Joint Powers Authority Governing Board. I will entertain a motion for that.
Make a motion.
Motion made by Mr. Jimenez,
Second.
second by Senora Gilpas. Comments, questions? Line vote, please.
Vice President Ocampo,
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Pereira, Trustee Jimenez.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Okay, we move on to public hearing, 25-26 fiscal year budget. We will open the public hearing at 7:05. And we will close the public hearing at 7:06. We move on to number 7, educational services. Public hearing, 25-26 local control and accountability plan. We will open up the public hearing at 7:06. And we will close it at 7:06. Okay, we move on to action item. 25-26 school plans for student achievement, SPSA for 12 schools. Entertain a motion?
So moved.
So moved by La Señora Gilpas,
Second.
seconded by Señor Jimenez. Comments, questions? Line vote.
Vice President Ocampo,
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Pereira,
Yes.
Trustee Jimenez.
Yes.
The motion passes.
8, human resources, action item. Request for new position information, specialist 3, 1 position. Entertain a motion.
Make a motion.
Motion made by Señor Jimenez, second.
Second.
Seconded by Señora Gilpas. Comments, questions? Yes, Señora
I
Gilpas?
just have a brief question for both of these items. Where it states the budget source, there's just a number. And I think sometimes don't we get like whatever funding source it is besides that long number? I was kind of surprised to see that, or maybe I've been missing it. Can someone comment on that? Like, what is the funding source? I mean, I don't know it by heart. It's just such a long number. And I know it's posted online. I don't think anybody's going to know. Maybe nobody will look at that, but they might.
You're absolutely right. The budget source should identify something that tells you where we're getting the money, the resource, and the department that the position will be assigned to. And we'll make sure we do that in the future.
Okay, so you don't know it offhand?
This is unrestricted general fund.
Oh, okay, both of them?
Let me see, look at it.
Well, the behavior technicians will be paid for indirectly by the unrestricted general fund because they are special education positions. However, special education funding is woefully inadequate, so the majority of special education expenses, and these will be paid by a contribution from the unrestricted general fund.
Okay, thank you very much.
And looking at the second account number, I can tell it's a special education resource for behavior technicians.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay. We will then move on to B, action item, request for new position. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, sorry. Yes, line vote, Mr. Koenig, please.
Vice President Ocampo,
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Pereira,
Yes.
Trustee Jimenez.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Okay. Item B, action item. A request for new position, behavior technician, 6 positions. Entertain a motion.
Make a motion.
Motion, Mr.
Second.
Jimenez, seconded, Señora Gilpas. Questions, comments? Line vote.
Vice President Ocampo,
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Barrera.
Yes.
Trustee Jimenez.
Yes.
The motion passes.
9, Administrative Services. Action item, salary schedule change, confidential, classified management, certificated management, and cabinet. Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Moved by
Second.
Senora Gilpes, second by Senor Jimenez. Comments, questions? Line vote.
Vice President Ocampo.
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Barrera.
Yes.
Trustee Jimenez.
Yes.
The motion passes.
E, action item, contract for deputy superintendent. Entertain a motion.
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Jimenez,
Second.
second by Senora Gilpes. Comments, questions? Oh,
Yeah.
I think Mr. Koenig will read the specifics.
Summary of financial terms of Deputy Superintendent Employment Agreement. The district will consider approving a 2025 to 2028 employment agreement for Dr. Maria Clara Fernandez to serve as the Deputy Superintendent of the school district. This agreement for Deputy Superintendent will commence on July 1st, 2025. A summary of the financial terms are as follows. The term of Dr. Fernandez's employment as Deputy Superintendent will be July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2028. The base salary of the Deputy Superintendent for the 2025-26 school year will be step 1 of the 2025-26 Cabinet salary schedule, $208,104 based on a 222-day work year. The Deputy Superintendent will be eligible to participate in the health insurance benefits that are provided to other certificated administrators in the district and life insurance plan provided to other management employees in the district. The Deputy Superintendent will be paid a monthly allowance for an automobile of $500 per month. The Deputy Superintendent will be paid a monthly allowance for use of her personal cell phone of $40 per month. The district will pay the cost of the Deputy Superintendent's membership dues in the Association of California School Administrators and the California Association of Latino Superintendents and Administrators. That's it.
Line vote, please. Ms. Koenig.
I had a comment.
Oh, yes, I'm
if I
sorry.
could- Thank you,
Yes.
thank you. Yes, so I know I was reading over the contract and it doesn't specify the amount, but for what the salary payment is, but it does make reference to the salary schedule for cabinet. But in case anybody is curious and it's public information, it's $204,024. So we welcome Dr. Fernandez.
Okay. Thank you for the information. Okay, we will then proceed to line vote, please.
Board Vice President Ocampo.
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Barrera.
Yes.
Trustee Jimenez.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Action, C, action item. Excuse me. California Latino School Board Association, Unity 2025 Conference in San Diego, California, September 11 through 14, 2025 attendees, board members, and superintendent. Motion, entertain a motion.
So moved.
So moved by Senora Gilpes.
Second.
Seconded by Senora Jimenez. Comments, questions? Line vote.
Board President Ocampo.
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Barrera.
Yes.
Trustee Jimenez.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Item D, action item. Revised board policies, administrative regulations and exhibits, Series 4000, personnel included. Entertain a motion.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion made by Senor Jimenez, second by Senora Gilpes. Comments, questions? Line vote.
Board President Ocampo.
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Barrera.
Yes.
Trustee Jimenez.
Yes.
E, action item. Revised board policy 5131-8, mobile communication devices. Entertain a motion.
Make a motion.
Motion made by Mr. Jimenez, second.
Second.
Seconded by La Señora Gilpas. Comments, questions? Yes, Señora Gilpas.
I just wanted to know, as far as this board policy, how are we letting parents know about it? Please.
Prior to bringing the board policy to the board for approval, the district did conduct a town hall. Also, this will be a subject of the orientation of the principals of the students and families at the beginning of the year.
Line vote, please.
Board President, Vice President Ocampo.
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Barrera.
Yes.
Trustee Jimenez.
Yes.
The motion passes.
F, action item, adopt new administrative regulation 5131-8, mobile communication devices. Entertain a motion. Moved by la señora Gilpas.
Second.
Second, señor Jimenez. Comments, questions? Line vote.
Vice President Ocampo.
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Barrera.
Yes.
Trustee Jimenez.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Item G, first read, information. Adopt new board policies, administrative regulations, exhibit series 5000, students included. Item H, action item. Obsolete board policies, administrative regulations, exhibit series 5000, student included. Motion?
So moved.
So motion made by Señora Gilpas, second.
Second.
Second by Señor Jimenez. Comments, questions? Line vote.
Vice President Ocampo.
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Barrera.
Yes.
Trustee Jimenez.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Item I, action item agreement, Lozano Smith LLC for legal services during school year 25-26. Entertain a motion.
Make a motion.
Motion made by Mr. Jimenez, second.
Second.
Second by Señora Gilpas. Comments, questions? Line vote.
Vice President Ocampo.
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Barrera.
Yes.
Trustee Jimenez.
Yes.
The motion passes.
J, action item, agreement, Atkinson, Andelson, Loya, Rude, and Romo for legal services during school year 25-26. Entertain a motion.
Make a motion.
Motion made by Mr. Jimenez, a second.
Second.
Second by Señora Gilpas. Comments, questions? Line vote.
Vice President Ocampo.
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Barrera.
Yes.
Trustee Jimenez.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Okay, item 10 is future agenda items. You can kind of look and see what they are. Does anyone have anything they would like to add to the list? No, okay. I do have one thing. I can find it somewhere in all this papelero here. Eternal papelero. Yeah, I was interested in a presentation on the current status of our the current status of our preschool and our TK program. Areas that could possibly be focused on could maybe be enrollment, projections of future growth, availability of qualified teachers, teacher-student ratios, curriculum, parent involvement. Those are suggestions for areas of focus for the presentation. We can move on to item 11, which is future meeting dates, and you can peruse those at your will. We'll move on to 12, which is public comments. Closed session agenda items only, guidelines. There will be a 2-minute limit for individuals and a 20-minute limit on total public comments. There's no ceding at one time to another individual. Individuals wishing to address the Board of Trustees on closed session agenda items may do so at this time. We have a starting time of 7:19, and we have an ending time of 7:19. We will now adjourn to closed session at 7:19. After a 10-minute break, closed session will begin promptly at approximately, what is that? 7:29, I think, right? About 7:29, 7:30 PM. Okay, thank you. Uh, If you want him, he'll come. As I said at your going away thing, you are the consummate professional. You will come? Yes, sir.
Se saltó, Mr. Ocampo. Sorry? Se saltó de mí.
I wanted to introduce myself.
No, 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 yo no, pues, entiendo inglés, pero voy a ir, pero voy a ir con. Exacto. Qué gusto, apoyar.
What's that? We will now reconvene to open session. Time reconvened is 8:12, and we do have a few reportable items. By a vote of 3-0 with 2 trustees absent, the board appointed Swat Rais as Director of Special Education. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
By a vote of 3-0 with 2 trustees absent, the board appointed Amy Thomas as Director of Innovative Design and Learning. Congratulations. By a vote of 3-0 with 2 trustees absent, the board approved a settlement agreement with employee 111600. By a vote of 3-0 with 2 trustees absent, the board voted to non-reelect probationary employee number 160232. Oh, I apologize. It's employee number 160233. Yes, my error. Okay, we will now adjourn at 8:13 p.m. and thank you for listening. Good night.